Well, hello and welcome to this week's Brand Breakthrough Show. Oh gosh, I'm looking a bit dark on here. Hang on, let me see if I can change that. There we go. How you doing? Thank you for bearing with me. I was on a plane yesterday at the time that I would have gone live usually, so we made it to today instead. So yeah, wow, what a great week it's been. Hello. Hi Nadine, great to see you. Welcome to this week's Brand Breakthrough Show. So we're going to talk about how to be a key person of influence in your industry, no matter where you are. So Nadine, you're coming live from Jamaica. Oh gosh, I'm in the Netherlands right now. I literally, I've just come back from Atlanta. Hi Matthew. I flew in from Atlanta yesterday morning. We've been delivering our brand builders events in Atlanta, Orlando and Fort Lauderdale for the last couple of weeks. So I flew in to Manchester yesterday, and Greg, my husband, came and met me for breakfast at the airport, and then I flew back out to Holland. So I'm in Holland right now. We went to have an intimate session with Michelle Obama last night, so I was like pinching myself last night. It was very awesome. Awesome Matthew. So I've got some good stuff to look forward to when I get back to Manchester. Hopefully it'll be shining, the sun will be shining there as well. Lenny, hello, how's it going? Haven't seen you for absolutely ages. Sending you my love. Juliet, hello. So today we are going to cover how to be that key person of influence in your industry, because I've had a lot of people asking questions about, how to attract more customers, how to fill your events, how to sell more of your products, and ultimately, there's Asha coming in. I'm staying with Asha right now. So Asha, come and say hello. Oh, look at this. Even brought, wow, I've got breakfast brought in here. Thank you so much. So actually, Asha, why don't you come and join in? Just come, you want to come and say hi? This is the Brand Breakthrough Show. So Nadine, the sun hasn't started shining here yet. It's 5 a.m. in Jamaica.
Wow.
So Asha, actually, I don't know, you can't really pull up a chair here, can you?
It's okay.
So today we're talking about how to be a key person of influence in your industry, and actually Asha knows everything about this topic, so it was perfect timing.
Perfect timing. Oh.
Isn't it always perfect timing? So there's three things that I'm going to talk about today on today's show, and one of those things is ultimately about how you become that movement maker, because whether you are selling a physical item or yourself, sorry, I just had a call come through then, it needs to be made tangible. Ultimately, if you don't have, hang on, I've got all kinds of things going on my phone at the moment. If you don't have something that is tangible, that other people can really recognize, is either one of your gifts, so like your genius, so you're selling your genius, or if you're selling a physical product, it's a little bit easier because then you can build the messaging around that. But ultimately, if you're selling yourself, and give me a thumbs up if you're a consultant, a trainer, a speaker, you're going, see you in a bit. If you're selling yourself, and this is not as tangible sometimes, right? Because it's like, okay, hang on a minute, I'm selling a service, and it's not so easy to sell that. It's kind of like, if you need a new tire for your vehicle, you can picture that in your head. You know what it looks like, it's physical, it's tangible. So usually it comes down to price. It's like, well, how much is the price of that? And you'll get, say, 3 quotes, and you'll usually pick the one that's in the middle, or you might go for the one that's more expensive because it's going to last longer. All depends on how it's been positioned to you, right? And you can physically see it in your head. But if it's a service, or somebody's coming to you for coaching, for example, or maybe it's a contract, maybe it's something where you're delivering a transformation for them rather than a physical product. So in that case, to be the key person of influence in your industry for that, you really need to build a movement around it. That's the best way that I have found to really sell product or service, is to build a movement around that. So let me give you an example. Michelle, you know Michelle, him and his wife Jenny went through our last challenge. You may have seen him in this group. So Michelle and Jenny have they've been growing wasabi for the last 30 years. So it's a physical product, but what they've done with that is they turned it into wasabi vodka. They turned it into wasabi health supplements. They've turned it into many different things, but they've been working really hard to drive people to those products. Let's see here. They've been working really hard to drive people to those products. And one of the ideas that we came up with was, well, if you build a movement, if you build a community around that product, you're obviously going to sell more of that product. So instead of trying to drive people to the product, drive them to you. Drive them to you. Asha's come online this way. So when you drive them to you that way, you're building an incredible amount of trust. And that's the key thing here. That's the real thing that we're discussing is trust. You're building trust. When you're building your brand, you're actually building trust, okay? They're both 5-letter words. And actually, if you take the word brand and reverse it, you'll see that DNA are the first 3 letters. And that's because your brand is the DNA of everything that you do. Your brand is, you know, if you're the happiest person in the room, your brand is if you're the most miserable person in the room. Your brand is if you're the person that always delivers, the person that people can always rely on, the person who is magnetic, right? The person that walks into a room and lights it up. Even before you even start talking about your business, that's your brand, right? And the opposite is also true, you know, if it's all bad things, then that's your brand as well. And so being that key person of influence in your industry is much easier if you build it around a product or a service. So in Jenny and Michelle's case, what we've done is build them. In fact, Jenny, although it was Michelle that came through the challenge, his wife Jenny is the real driver behind the health side of the business. Like she's late 60s and she's probably healthier than most of the people that I know. She still runs marathons, like she's doing all kinds of stuff, and she swears that because she's taking these supplements, that's what keeps her in immaculate shape, because it enables her to be at optimum health so that she can exercise, so she can do all those things in her late 60s. Hi Cindy, are you in Europe yet? I saw that you were traveling. So this is one of the things that that they've done now, is to say, okay, well, let's build a community and a tribe around health, being healthy, and as a result of that, they can then, you know, maybe once or twice a week share a new shake that they're putting their wasabi capsules in the shake and things like that, so they can start adding in the product placement to that. So if you have a service that you want to productize, the very best way to do that is by building a community or a movement or a tribe around it. So think about some of the ways that you can do that. So for example, Nadine, you've got so many different things that you're doing, but much of it is on the coaching side and the speaking side, right? So the very best thing you could do, now you've got your you're starting to get your fame name, and I see in the Brand Builders Club group you've started to really conceptualize the name, you've started to go through the vision, you're working your way through the 7-step brand Kickstarter, which is awesome. You will get to a point at the end of the 7 steps where it's like, okay, let's start building a community, let's start building a tribe or a movement around this. So it's really powerful when you start doing that, because then you're taking the focus off of the actual product, and what you're putting the focus on instead is trust. So you're building that trust around you. Therefore, when you build enough trust around you, when you have a product or a service to sell, they're going to buy whatever it is you are selling, as long as there's a need, right? So if you're building a tribe of your ideal customers, then that's not going to be a challenge, because if you're really specific about who it is you want to be spending your time with in this tribe, makes it so much easier, because there's an alignment, right? And really the whole point is for you to build as much trust as possible. that's the first way, is to build a tribe or a movement around what you're selling. So and it makes it so much easier as well, right? Don't you feel so much better when you're supporting people, when you feel like you're helping them as opposed to selling something to them? It makes a huge difference in the energy exchange as well, as you're building your business. And if you've got any questions as we go along, please let me know. So the second thing is to think about who you have in your network that you can support. Okay? Because there'll be people that you can support, and I know that it's easy to think, oh yeah, but if I'm supporting you, then it's taking the focus off of my business, and I really need customers in my business. But if you reverse that thinking, and if you think, actually, the more I help you, the more you're going to want to help me. So actually what happens is, whilst you are only thinking about your business and getting customers for your business, you might be focused on, those 5 customers and like really focusing on them. But if you help somebody else, then they might know 2,000 of your ideal customers. They might then position you to their entire network because you have helped and supported them. This is a really powerful strategy, and it does require a shift in mindset. If you keep going out into the world, especially in the world of business, and especially as an entrepreneur, because we've discussed this at the events recently, I find that there's a massive difference between the employee mindset, the business owner mindset, and the entrepreneur mindset, right? So, and I'm sure you understand what the difference is, and maybe you have a different way of verbalizing it than I do, but here's how I verbalize that. So, an employee mindset, I know you'll know what this really looks like, and maybe you've even experienced this, because I know I have. An employee mindset, they go to work and they come back. Right? They are just literally, they're there to do a job there. And in most cases, fortunately, they are there to do the very best job that they can. Yes, there are people that will just turn up at 9 a.m. or like 1 minute past 9, and 1 minute to 5, they're out the door. Hi, Nelica. That's more of an employee mindset. But then when you become a business owner, and in most of the cases when I'm working with entrepreneurs like you who own your own business, what happens is you're in a job, and then something happens in that job, and so then you are now a business owner. And like, I know that that's true for me. So I was made redundant 2 Christmases in a row, and when, the company decided that they were either restructuring, or the first time they'd spent way too much money, they'd overspent, and we lost out as a result of them doing that, because they closed the company down, and there were like 50 something of us that all lost our jobs, right? So I don't know what you call it where you are, but we call it being made redundant in the UK. And so I was made redundant 2 years in a row, and when I could see that the company that I was working for, that in the 3rd year I'd worked for another company, and when I could see that they were making some of the same mistakes that the other 2 were, I thought, I'm getting out of here, because I could see the signs then. I knew what a failing business looked like, and I didn't want to be around that. And so I made that choice that I was going to start my own business, and I did. And in a lot of cases, I find that when you're setting up a business, it's not always because you're retired and you've got an abundance of money and you just decided that you're going to turn your hobby into something you make money on. Yes, that does happen. But in most cases, certainly that I've experienced, the people that I work with, they tend to, something has happened in their job, and so they've decided that they're going to focus on building a business instead. But the challenge is, if you go to it through that route, and you haven't had any training or experience as an entrepreneur mindset, what you're doing is you're carrying that employee mindset straight through into your business. And so now you are basically becoming your worst boss when you start working for yourself, because you don't have any experience, you don't have any training in, well, what does it look like to build a business, and who do you need to be in this whole mix of serving and selling, like what's the balance. And I find that a lot of business owners have no idea of that balance, because you go from that kind of 9 to 5 mentality, or whatever that shift pattern was, to now you're doing it in your business. And it's completely different. Now you haven't got those time barriers, and so you start working longer hours, and you find in the end that you're getting paid less for more time, right? Because you're doing a lot more and you're working more hours, and it's frustrating. And suddenly the freedom that you thought you were gonna have, you don't have that anymore. And so it's frustrating. I'm not quite sure why that's doing that, Nelika. I'm not getting any feedback on that. Nadine, can you see the video? Okay, I can see that you're making comments. I'll come back to those. I need help and support in continuing on this journey and ensuring I'm attracting the right people. And that is so fundamental. Because what can happen as a business owner that's been kind of thrown into the world of business, that still has some of that residue from the employee mentality, is that you can end up attracting clients that you don't want. Because when you're in business, it's like, okay, so I need to make money, and so you start putting it out there. Your vibe starts getting out there, and it might start getting out there before you totally know exactly what business you're building. It's one of the reasons that our Brand Builders Club members, the first thing they do is go through the 7-step brand Kickstarter, because otherwise you're then building on what you already have. And 9 times out of 10, the people that come through the Brand Builders Club program is because what you have is working, but it's not working in the way that you want it to. It's not attracting as many clients as you want, or the money isn't flowing as much as you would like it to. And what I find is, in many cases, that it's a massive part down to the messaging. And if you can get the messaging and the positioning of the business right, you'll start to attract the right customers. But you've got to decide who you are and who the business is first, because it's going to be the walking, talking, living, breathing representation of you. So now you've got this move from an employee mindset to a business owner mindset. And the real key for you is to be able to step from the business owner mindset into the entrepreneur mindset. So a business owner mindset, in my experience, tends to be very I-focused. So how can I make more money? How can I get more customers? How can I be more productive? How can I keep this roof over my head? How can I continue feeding my family when I haven't, and it tends to be very I-focused. So how can I? Whereas an entrepreneur, certainly the amazing entrepreneurs that I choose to spend my time with, they say, how can you change your life as a result of something I know? How can you change your business or your wealth, your health, your mindset, your situation? How can you change that or transform the results of what's happening for you currently as a result of things that I've already learned that you don't need to do the hard way, right? So, so Nadine's seeing that fine. Nelika, it might be your in. So this is the thing. It's like, if you're first of all building that tribe and that community, say like you've got the messaging right, you've been through the 7-step brand Kickstarter process, you're now building on a solid foundation, right? And you've got this entrepreneur mindset. Well, that's the key thing is being a key person of influence is absolutely stepping into that entrepreneur mindset, the how can you mindset, the you focused mindset. We're talking about this. We've got one event left in the whole series of events that we've been running all around the world. For those of you that can come to our next event in London, which is on the 25th and 26th of April. So is that next week? I think that's either next week or the week after. And so we're going to be in London Heathrow. It starts from 6 till 9 p.m. on the Thursday night, which is the 25th. The training starts then, and the actual day is on the 26th. So the whole day of training, we go right through till 7 p.m. There's amazing training. And actually one of the things that we're really focusing on, and that's my piece, is the language, so that you are attracting the right people first time. And so using certain language can really make an impact and position you as that key person of influence. Because when you're speaking the love language, you're speaking the same language as your ideal customers. Not any customer, your ideal customers. When you're speaking the language that your ideal customers want to hear, you are suddenly positioned, like you're really leveraging your knowledge and your expertise, because you're able to then say, I understand what you're going through. When I went through it, this is what I did. And so you're now stepping into that association zone. So that's really powerful to be able to do that, which has kind of moved on to step 3 before I'd finished step 2. So let's go back to step 2, and then we'll come back to this one. Let's have a look here. Hang on. So Nadine, the universe is so awesome that I actually started a community, a movement and tribe around me already. And thanks to Brand Builders Club that has supported me in this as well. Thank you, Nadine. And Asha, before you're an entrepreneur, success is all about growing your own happiness. When you become an entrepreneur, success is all about growing the happiness of others. Thank you. That's a really good definition. That's a brilliant way of putting it. So coming back to number 2, you're now building that tribe around you. But again, thinking about how can you help others. So who do you know who has a network that is filled with your ideal customers? And here, this is the key, right? Yes, you can help others, and we had to go down this mindset avenue for you to be able to step into that zone of how can you rather than how can I. So and what we were talking about at the beginning of step 2, or the second way to really build yourself as a key person of influence, is really stepping out of that how can I zone. Because when you're in the how can I zone, that's when you are just thinking of yourself. You're thinking, how can I make money? How can I get more customers? How can I? When you're in a how can you zone, then that's the true entrepreneur zone. When you're in that zone, what you do is you'll then pick a key person of influence, for example, who has a lot of your ideal customers within their network, and you focus on them. Like how can you change X, Y, Z, whatever it is that you change for people? How can you attract more customers as a result of something that I know? How can you make a difference to your followers by being the best example of someone who's really super healthy? And you might be a health coach, and so you help that key person of influence. Well, if they're more healthy and they're more in their zone, then they're more able to help and support their tribe underneath them. Hi, Amanda. So this is a key thing, right? So, for example, in the Brand Builders Club, the key number 1 core value as a Brand Builders Club member is being a champion of each other at all times, right? Championship of each other at all times is the number 1 core value at the Brand Builders Club. And so as a Brand Builders Club member, the very best thing you can do is to be that key person of influence for someone else in the club. So who do you know in the Brand Builders Club that you think, okay, I could really support you. I could really support you. Or maybe I have a whole network of people that I can introduce you to, and I can interview you in front of my network. And that way, you're going to get your message out to everybody that I know. Maybe you're writing a book or an ebook, and you could feature that person in your ebook. Maybe you could interview them because they've got something that's of value to your entire network. But by positioning them, you're now helping them to be the key person of influence to your network. If we're running an event, for example, so we run monthly Thinkubators. Hi, Greg. We run monthly Thinkubators in all the different parts of the world that the Brand Builders Club operates. So think which member could I bring someone to for that, so that I can introduce them personally. That's another way of doing it. Another way is, yes, definitely, Amanda, I'm very excited about it. Another way is to think, how can I show up in the best way for that particular person? So you don't have to do this for everyone, right? Just pick 1 or 2 people in your network and think, how can I really go all out on supporting you? because what it does is it raises your profile. It actually makes you look like the key person of influence when you are constantly being of support to that person. Right, Amanda, you're a great example of being a key person of influence within the Brand Builders Club. You're always building your profile. You're always in the group, nurturing and supporting people. So therefore, your name is the name that's constantly seen. As soon as you comment on somebody's like on Facebook, as soon as you comment on somebody's question in the Brand Builders Club, or you're liking it, saying congratulations, even if it's just something small like I love this, right? It's making that person feel good. So not only is your name constantly being seen within the Brand Builders Club, like the more you post in this thread as I'm talking. Okay, Matthew, creating audit vodka, that sounds cool. But the more you support others, like the more we see your name showing up, the more you become a key person of influence. It's like, okay, so it might be, for example, that you're the one that we're constantly seeing up in showing up in the Facebook group, supporting other people. What happens is when you're thinking, who can I ask to interview on my network that is constantly supporting others, who's a great example of what a great brand builder is? I'm going to go to the people who are showing up the most, right? And it doesn't have to take a massive amount of time. Like I've got Brand Builders Club members who they set their calendar reminder and they go into the Brand Builders Club for 5 minutes a day. And all they do in that 5 minutes is go through who's posted in the Brand Builders Club today, and they put a comment of support in there, or they might read through what the person has said and they'll give feedback on that. Just 5 minutes a day. You become the key person of influence in that group, so everybody wants to now follow you. So this is the thing, right? Is being that key person of influence by supporting others. And I know it seems like a contradiction. It's like, well, I'm here to make money. I'm here to grow my business. I'm here to make sure that I'm building my list, right? So it's kind of like, yes, you can have all of those things, but I guarantee you that if you pick 5 people who are around you in your network, and especially for those of you in the Brand Builders Club, pick 5 other brand builders. Pick those people, because what's going to happen is when you're constantly commenting on their posts, when you're constantly, once a week, just reaching out to them, just checking in, how you getting on? I was thinking about you. Right? How good does that person feel as a result of you actually caring about them? Did it take you a long time to drop a little message in there? No, it didn't. It probably would take you a minute maximum to drop a little message. Hi, I was just thinking about you. I love what you're doing. I can see what you're up to. Would be great to chat and find out how else can I support you, because I love what you're doing. Really, really, appreciate you. How else can I support you? I might know some people that you could do business with, or I might know some people that you'd love me to invite to the next Thinkubator, for example. So that way you're becoming that key person of influence for them. Now what happens is you are now renting a space in their head. You are now occupying that piece in their mind where they are wanting to contribute back to you. So what happens is you end up with 5 times the amount of energy coming back to you than the energy that you initially gave them. So that's another really key way of you being that key person of influence. So brand builders that are watching this, really become that key person of influence for someone else within the Brand Builders Club. And I know I keep saying, invite other people to come to the Thinkubators so that they can meet all of our brand builders. You might not even know. You might not even think, oh, well, actually, I know a brand builder that would value or benefit my, me bringing my other entrepreneur friend with me. But that entrepreneur friend will be brilliant for 4 or 5 people in that network. Not just the person that you bought them for. And so really, really, right, for you to be that key person of influence, start inviting others for your fellow brand builders. Start thinking about others in a bigger way, because whilst ever you're thinking about yourself, you're contracting. The universe is not going to keep delivering for you whilst ever you're only thinking about yourself. If you're thinking about others, what will happen is you really will. You'll have like so much more energy come back to you. And also, when I see you making that effort, when I see you putting yourself out there to do great things for other people, it positions you higher in my mind as well. You're then renting a space in my head. Like Asha, I think you've invited 3 or 4 people are coming to the Thinkubator tonight in the Netherlands as a result of you reaching out to your network, right? That puts you much higher in my estimation, because it's like, oh, Asha is really well connected. Asha is a key person of influence in her industry. Asha is really doing things to make great change. Asha, how can I support you? You've brought 4 people to this. How can I support you in a bigger way? What are some of the things I can do to support you, right? So you know, everyone's watching. People are watching you, right? They want to model you. When you become that key person of influence, you just become so attractive that whatever you're selling, going back to that first point, doesn't matter whether it's something physical or it's something that's you know, as a service, so it's not a tangible thing. It doesn't matter. You are going to sell so much more of the thing that you want to sell when you step out, build that tribe around you, but support others to build a tribe around them. And that's really powerful. And so then going back to 3, because we kind of started touching on it from a mindset point of view, is to you know, step out of your comfort zone and start going live, just like we're doing right now. I set a challenge for our Netherlands brand builders actually a couple of weeks ago, just as I was flying to America. I set a challenge for the group and said, I want all of you to be that key person of influence for each other. How can you do that? Interview each other. Because I understand, right, that when you start going live and it's just you on a camera like I am now, it's not the easiest thing to do necessarily, especially if you're not necessarily used to public speaking, or you're just really, you know, getting a handle on your positioning or your messaging, and you're starting to build that profile. But you know, going live can be terrifying for some people. Maybe it's not terrifying for you, but I know people that are like, you know, just the very thought of going live, let alone actually hitting go live button, the thought of going live brings them out in a cold sweat. And so again, like, and it kind of goes back to step 2, these are all interlinked, is who in your network can you interview that would add value to your network? So, you know, you already know what your ideal customers want. You already know who your friends are within your network. So who do you know that you could interview? And so I put this challenge out to the Netherlands brand builders, and I was really surprised to see that only a couple actually took up on the challenge. And I was like, wow, like when you're interviewing someone else, it's putting the spotlight on them. But really what it's doing is it's positioning you as the person, the key person of influence that brings everyone together. And Lubna really took this challenge on board. And rather than, in my mind, it was like, oh, you know, just interview one person every day, you know, and do it at the same time so that there's a consistency there. So your network start to think, oh, how, like, where's Amanda? She was live at 11 a.m. yesterday. It's now 11:05. Now they're messaging Amanda saying, oh, I was really looking forward to you going live this morning. Are you going live today? You will find that if you go live consistently at the same time each day or the same time each week, people will start to miss you, right? You create a habit with your tribe. You turn yourself into a habit. So Lubna, yeah, Amanda, Lubna's interviews are incredible, right? So Lubna said, right, I take that challenge. And she did a whole day. She just interviewed. She reached out to our brand builders and said, you know, I'd love to interview you. She reached out to the people from the Pay It Forward series book that they've just released last month, I think it was. It was in March, 8th of March. They launched it on International Women's Day. And so, you know, she interviewed people from the book. She reached out. So she really started building that key person of influence. Hi, Darian. And it makes such a difference when you do that, right? So put the spotlight on others, because actually what it does is for the person that you're interviewing, They feel great about you. You're now a key person of influence to them. You're now renting a space in their mind because you have helped them. And so, like, that's it. You go like that, straight up in their estimation. You're now their key person of influence. And all of the people that follow you now see you as a key person of influence because you're the one who's got the connections. You're the one who's making the effort to be of service to others. You're the one who is putting the right people in front of them. And you'll get loads of thank yous. Oh my God, thank you for introducing me to such and such. So as part of the Brand Builders Club, for those of you that are in the Brand Builders Club, you know, we run 2 sprints every month. And so they're like little mini courses that are divided over 5 days. We sprint through them in 5 to 10 minutes of video instruction, 15 to 30 minutes of action every day for 5 days. Boom, get shit done. And then you're getting on with everything else, right? But the people that are going through the sprints, and we do them live in our in the Facebook group, we also have a 90-minute masterclass that the expert delivers, who's delivering the sprint that week. And so Keith Leon is he's running a sprint right now in the Brand Builders Club on publishing. How to publish your next book or your first book, your best book, right? So he's doing that. So he did a 90-minute masterclass on Tuesday, and I got messages from everybody that had gone through that process. But there was one message that I got in particular from Christine. You know Christine, right? Who you've seen her in this group. Christine messaged me and said, "Oh my God, thank you for making that introduction to Keith. He's exactly who I needed in my life right now. And I got this and I got that and this happened as a result." And so you know, like, I really am very, very careful about who I put in front of my network, and the people that I bring in to deliver those sprints and to deliver those masterclasses are people that either I've spent my own money with them, or my brand builders have spent their money with them and then raved about them to me and said, "Oh my God, this person has to be a brand builder. You need to meet them." Like Darian, who's watching right now. Darian managed all the Facebook advertising for many key people of influence. One of them is Tasha Chen, who happens to be in the Brand Builders Club. And for those of you that know Tasha, that she's spoken at our events around the world, I implicitly trust Tasha with my clients. And Tasha, because she is a key person of influence in my mind, when Tasha says to me, "Oh my God, you've got to meet Darian Hill. He's managed all of my Facebook ads. He helped me to fill this event. He's done this, he's done this, he's done this. You've got to meet this guy." Right? When Darian is then coming to my event in Fort Lauderdale a few months ago, I think it was January, you came to the event, Darian. When Darian comes to the event, I'm like, "Oh, I must make sure I connect with Darian because Tasha has gone on about this guy. He must be amazing." So Tasha has leveraged Darian's brand. She's like really positioned his brand to me. Now, out of an entire room full of people, I'm targeting Darian, right? Did it cost Tasha anything to do that? No. But what it does is it puts Tasha up in my estimations because she's now recommended me to someone who's awesome. Darian then went on to become a Brand Builders Club member, and because of what I'd seen him do for Tasha, I then invited him to also step up to the Brand Builders Clinic. And the Brand Builders Clinic is 25 experts in my treasure chest that I recommend to my brand builders, because I'm like, seriously, if you're going to go to anybody to do this or to have them do this for you, then these are the people you want to go to first, because whilst ever you're in my nest, I can protect you. You go outside of that, I can't protect you. So it's really, really critical for me that the people I bring into that nest are the right people, that they are people who are going to do an incredible job for my community and my family, so that my family then trust me even more. Right? You put somebody in front of them that doesn't do a great job, then it does the opposite for your brand, right? So you have to be very careful. This is brand by association. Be very careful who you're hanging around with, who you're spending your time with, and who you're recommending. And so they're really the key 3 things to do to build your key person of influence. Hi, Fiona. So, really consider that. How are you building that movement, community, or tribe around what you do? How are you supporting others by introducing them to people that, hi Sparky, introducing them to people that could really make a difference, right? I know there are at the London event, the Brand Builders event, which by the way, next week, at the end of April, marks the very last opportunity to bring a guest to a Brand Builders Club Members Day. So as of the end of April, so the event in London next week is the very last time you can come to one of our Brand Builders training days as a guest. So from now on, it is going to be members only, and the only way that a guest can get an insight into the stuff that we're doing in the Brand Builders Club will be by coming to one of the monthly Thinkubators that we're running all around the world, and the membership ambassadors in those regions are running those, and so we've got, I know there's at least 5 members that have reached out to me to let me know that they are bringing a guest with them, hi Andrea, to the final event. Yes, Amanda's bringing a very special guest. In fact, you want to be there to meet this special guest. It's going to be awesome. So Amanda has then stepped up and said, right, I'm going to be the key person of influence at the next event. I'm going to bring a couple of people. So Amanda's got somebody very special coming to the Thinkubator in London, and also to the Members Day. So, you know, now Amanda's gone up in my estimation. Now I'm looking at Amanda and saying, okay, right, well, Amanda always brings someone with her to the next event. Amanda is a key person of influence in her industry. And everybody in the room knows that Amanda has brought that person. So now Amanda is the magnet in the room. So who can you bring to the next event that enables you to be that key person of influence in the room? Where people say, you know, Sparky, she always brings someone with her who's really high quality. You know, actually you want to talk to Sparky because... And you know, there's that leverage, there's that positioning. So the more you're showing up, the more you're supporting other people around you, the more your business is going to grow. And as we talked about with mindset in step number 2, the more you think only about your business, how can I grow my business, what can I do to get more customers, the more you think that way, the more your business is going to contract. The more you think, how can I make a really big difference to that network? How can I be the key person of influence in the room that day at that event? How can I really support Sammy or Amanda or you know, somebody else at that event? How can I support them in a way that touches their heart so much that they then cannot wait to tell everybody about me in their entire network? So, you know, and then also think about interviewing other people. So that third thing is, you know, start doing Facebook Lives, start interviewing other people. You know, if your Facebook Lives are just about you all the time, then that's not adding value to your network. So as Lubna, we were talking about Lubna a little while ago, as Lubna started doing, Lubna started interviewing others. So it's not just her on camera all the time. Lubna is now interviewing other people in her network, which is helping them. It's positioning her as the key person of influence because she's the one to go to if you want to be interviewed to her entire network. It's positioning the person as a key person of influence that Lubna is interviewing. And it's also breaking up the monotony of you just going live on your own all the time. If you start interviewing people, then it breaks it up, it shifts it, the energy is different. So, you know, and I see a lot of people doing, like we're doing now, I'm doing just face-to-camera stuff, but also I interview people, and quite often on these Brand Breakthrough show. Okay, darling, I was now running Wise Woman Wednesday show about how to thrive. That's awesome. Awesome. So are you interviewing people, Sarah? Because that also is a way of building your key person of influence. If you're interviewing people, put a post out in the Brand Builders Club Facebook group and say, hi, I'm going to be interviewing people on Wise Woman Wednesday. You know, who would like to be interviewed? Automatically your brand is going to expand, right? You're going to become an even bigger person of influence because you're giving other people around you that opportunity. Hi, Deb. Yeah, perfect. So it really makes a difference when you're putting that out there, and everybody around you then is like seeing your brand positioned, like you really are that key person of influence to them. May in the Brand Builders Club group, she put a post out in Brand Builders a few weeks ago and said, International, what was it? World Transformation Day. World Transformation Day is happening in a couple of days. Can we pull this together? Shall we do a transformation marathon? And it literally was in a few days from then. And she had like, I think there were out of all the people that were interviewed on that, there were, I think, about 15 of the 20 that were on it were Brand Builders Club members. And so, in fact, many of you on this call stepped up and were a part of the World Transformation Day event that May ran online. Has May's brand gone up in every single person's estimation who she brought in to be a part of that? Absolutely. People in the Brand Builders Club who didn't know who May was now know who May is. Now they're interested in what May does. Now they're interested in supporting May. Hi Yoga, can't wait to see you tonight. So really, when you step into that you-focused zone, which is actually what this is all about. If you look at all three of these points, point one being building that community, that tribe around what it is you're doing. Well, to build that tribe, you need to add massive value to that tribe. Otherwise, they're not going to follow you, right? The more value you add to them, the more they're going to want to follow you. So that's key number one. Key number two is being that key person of influence for others in your network by reaching out to them and saying, hey, how can I support you? What can I do to add value to you so that we have a mutual thing, and then you'll want to help me? So how can we support each other? But don't ever go into it with the energy of, I want to be in front of your whole network, so I'm only going to support you because of that. All right, don't go into it with that expectation. If you go into it with the expectation of, I am just going to absolutely and wholeheartedly give what I can of myself to you to support you, you're naturally going to find that happens, right? So you don't need to go in it with any expectation other than the expectation of yourself to give whatever you can of value to that person. And the final thing is reaching out to your network and maybe sit down after this. Just sit down, or you could do it right now. Think the network that you're building, the tribe that you're building, the community or the movement that you, thanks Fiona, the movement that you're building, who out of the people do you already know would add value to that network? And then reach out to them and say, I'm putting together a series of interviews via Facebook Live. The community I'm building is this, and I think that you have a gift that my audience would really benefit from. When can we have a chat about me interviewing you? Like, you might send that message to someone that you've only met once, or someone that you really, really, really would love to do business with, and you're not even sure if there's a relationship there. Well, I guarantee you that by contacting them and saying, I want to interview you to put you in front of my entire network because you have a gift that they need, they are not going to say no to that. Right? They are not going to say no. Like, I have people that kind of, walk on eggshells around me wanting an interview, and they kind of hint at it. And I'm like, if you want to interview me. As far as I'm concerned, this one drop that I wear around my neck every day, and I don't even take this off when I have a shower, right? This is my one drop. I'm constantly thinking, okay, today, how can I be the biggest drop for someone else in my universe, right? We're doing a Facebook Live. Look, it says there's 11 people watching right now. There's always more than that. I don't know why Facebook never shows exactly who's watching it. But, so I'm supporting, I'm doing 11 drops right now. So the more people that you're supporting, the more people you're connecting with, the more people that you're championing, the better it's going to be. So reach out to me. Say, Sammy, why don't we support each other to get in front of each other's networks? I'll interview you and you interview me. Guess what we just did? We just expanded our zone. Deb Johnson, actually, you interviewed Sammy. That's how you're in the Brand Builders Club now, right? Deb reached out to me last year, and I can't remember even what the connection was. I don't know. I don't remember how you found me or even started following me, but you got in touch with me and said you're running an online summit, and you're looking for a speaker in brand or something around those lines. I'd never heard of you before. You reached out to me about doing this summit. I've been recommended to you or something, so you'd love to jump on a Zoom call with me to find out how we can collaborate. Am I going to say no to that? Of course I'm not going to say no to that. Deb and I then became friends as a result of that interview, and we stayed in each other's zone. And then, last month or the month before, Deb said, right, okay, I'm ready. How can we play? And so seriously, by you stepping up and being that key person of influence for someone else, you are always going to benefit. So step out of the I zone, dive into the U zone, the you focus zone. Reach out to 5 people in your network, reach out to me. I'll interview you, you interview me. We've got a considerable network. We're in front of around 40,000 entrepreneurs through our channels every single week, right? It would be a very good thing for me to interview you. And we'll find the angle of why you would be a great person to be interviewed on this Brand Breakthrough show, or to deliver a sprint for my Brand Builders Club members, to deliver a 90-minute masterclass for them. Let's do a live interview, Sammy, like Michelle Obama's yesterday. Absolutely, let's do it. So seriously, look, it's already started. Asha has already gone up in my mind. Now I'm like, yeah, let's do an interview. So I'm now going to spend more time with Asha, which means I'm going to get to know more about Asha, which means when we get out to each other's networks, there's going to be an energy. There's going to be a true energy around that. So there you go. There's 3 key people of influence strategies that you've got there. And I hope that you take those on. Even if you're planning a summit or something, in the lead up to that summit, start doing live interviews. You don't need to, if you're running an event, like when I ran the Vision, Voice and Visibility Summit in December last year, the month leading up to that, I was interviewing the sponsors. The sponsors were adding value. They weren't selling anything. They were just adding value. And, and I was putting those interviews out so that our entire network knew who those people were. So I hope you enjoyed today's Brand Breakthrough show. Let's break through, let's bust through, any of those challenges that you're having in your business. Let's really sprint through them and get to the other side. Because on the other side of those challenges, on the other side of those fears, here's where you are, here's where you want to be, and there's whatever that stuff is that's stopping you from achieving that. Stop thinking about yourself. Think about others. Put yourself in that you energy and really dive into that pool of possibilities of when you interview others, when you help their brand to expand, when you are the key person of influence in the room. People can see you're making an effort. And when they think you're making an effort there, it gives them the impression you're making a big effort in your business as well. It makes them far more likely to want to do business with you. So have an extraordinary day for those of you that are coming to the Netherlands Incubator tonight. I can't wait to see you. And actually, we've just literally, we've put in a very, very special event next Wednesday in London. Amanda Frolic, again, being the key person of influence, Amanda reached out to Levi Roots, who is one of the contestants on Dragon's Den. For those of you that are in other parts of the world, you might have heard of Dragon's Den, or Shark Tank is the name of the TV program in America. You may well have heard of that. Give me a thumbs up if you've heard of Shark Tank or Dragon's Den. Well, Levi Roots, I believe the story was he was at a totally different event, and the TV producer from Dragon's Den approached him and loved his energy and said, we really want you on Dragon's Den. It'd be brilliant for you to pitch on there. And so he went on and he won, right? So the dragons, one of the dragons, I don't know which one, or maybe 2, invested in him. And he, if you look him up on Google now, on Wikipedia, he's worth millions now as a result of that. So did he have to learn how to pitch? Yes. Did he have to learn how to be the key person of influence in his industry? Yes. He had to overcome some enormous challenges to get where he is now. And he now owns a restaurant in London. And Amanda has worked it out with him that we can run our April Incubator at his restaurant next Wednesday. So Wednesday the 24th, I believe that is, Amanda. Wednesday the 24th of April, so in a week from now. There's only 20 places because it's an intimate group, because Levi himself is going to come and join us. So he's going to come along and do a Q&A. He's going to answer any questions that you have around the table. So hi Hope, hi Mary. So for those of you that are in London next Wednesday, or even if you're not in London, fly to London, get yourself there, because just that intimate time that we have together, it's a 3-hour session. We're going to be masterminding around the table. Every single business there is going to get support. Every single person around that table is going to walk away with instant implementable action to go and take in your business, and also the opportunity to be there having dinner with us and Levi. I think it's like a special one-off thing, right? So make sure you book your ticket. Amanda, you've got the link to, I saw you and Jamie going backwards and forwards with the link earlier. I woke up to that this morning. So Amanda, if you could post the link for those people that want to come to that would be brilliant. And then that's followed by the London Members Day as well. Plus we have Trish Carr flying over from Fort Lauderdale to deliver a 2-day event on the back of our Brand Builders Club event. So this is all happening next week. So Wednesday, it's dinner with Levi. Thursday, we've got 2 amazing speakers that are kicking off in the session from 6 p.m. until 9 p.m. that evening. On the Friday is a full day of Brand Builders Club training. And then the Saturday and Sunday is Trish Carr talking about the business of speaking. So how do you start getting paid to speak? So we've got a full packed agenda there. The Thinkubator is from 6:30 till 9:30 p.m. next Wednesday, for those of you that want to join with Amanda, with Levi. I'm going to be there, my husband's going to be there, James will probably be there as well, and I think it's something like £28, and it includes the food. The only thing that you would need to pay for is any drink that you have. So come and join us, be a part of the transformation, and look out for the updates. We've got Thinkubators that are starting to run all around the world, where we want to position you to our entire network. So reach out. I'd love to interview you, and let's get your brand out there. And likewise, interview me. Let's get my brand out there. Let's collaborate. Because together we can reach many, many more lives. And ultimately, if we're going to be the drop, then we need to support each other in doing that. It's no fun being in business on your own, is it? So take care. I hope you enjoyed the show. I will be back next week. I'm actually at home for a period of time now. So I think I worked out that it's something like 9 days or 11 days or something I've been at home. Since I left on the 2nd of January. It's been quite a whirlwind this year, so I'm finally at home. I'm going to be home for a good couple of months. I think I've got one trip that I might make out to South Africa for a client that wants me to go out and support them with building their community, so they're flying me out for a couple of days to Johannesburg in May. But other than that, I'm going to be at home now, and Jamie is taking over the running of all of the members' days and the Thinkubators out in the States, so I don't need to be over there so much. And so it's great when I travel now. It's going to be for leisure and to be there to support you in running your events. So take care, be the brand you want to see in the world, be the drop that you want to see in the world, and I'll look forward to seeing you very, very soon. Mwah.